welcome back to Car Alerts. You're looking at it, the 2025 Porsche 911 GT3 S, and it's not just another 911. This is the one that elevates what we know about Porsche's motorsport-inspired street cars and sharpens it even further. If you're familiar with the GT3 S is what happens when Porsche decides to dial everything up to 11 without crossing into the realm of the RS. It's more aggressive, more advanced, and yet still just barely restrained enough for daily use. In this video, we're going to dive into what makes the 911 GT3 S possibly one of the best driver's cars money can buy in 2025. As you approach the GT3 S, the changes are subtle but unmistakable. It still carries the classic 911 silhouette, a shape that has evolved rather than changed over the decades, but this model flexes a more menacing presence right from the front. The front fascia is sharper and wider than the standard GT3, with redesigned air intakes that aren't just for show. They're functional, feeding more air to the radiators and cooling systems that the S model demands. Porsche has integrated new adaptive aero elements in the lower splitter, which automatically adjust based on speed and throttle input. The LED matrix headlights are sleeker and now housed in darkened bezels for a stealthy, motorsport-ready look. Small touches, like the satin carbon fiber hood and NACA ducts, give away this car's real intentions to go fast, precisely and repeatedly. Move to the side, and the GT3 S's personality comes into full view. The stance is even lower than before, thanks to revised adaptive suspension that drops the car when it's in performance mode. The forged centerlock wheels come standard on the S and are now wrapped in custom Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires, developed in conjunction with Porsche Motorsport specifically for this model. The side skirts have been redesigned for improved airflow, and subtle vents just ahead of the rear wheels manage pressure along the bodywork. One standout change is the use of more carbon fiber along the side mirror housings and door trim. Even the roof is carbon, cutting weight where it matters most up high, lowering the car's center of gravity. The GT3 S doesn't scream for attention, but it doesn't whisper either. It has the poise of a track car and the polish of a road-going Grand Tourer, and that balance is what makes it so unique. From the rear, the GT3 S separates itself more clearly from its lesser siblings. The swan-neck wing is even more aggressive than the GT3's, now constructed with a thinner yet stronger composite that gives it a floating appearance. This isn't just eye candy. Porsche claims the GT3 S generates over 25% more downforce than the standard GT3 at 200 km/h, and it shows. The rear bumper features a larger central diffuser flanked by enlarged dual titanium exhaust tips. The rear light bar stretches cleanly across the width of the car, and the Porsche badging below it is now finished in satin black, a subtle but assertive touch. Rear vents on either side of the rear fascia not only serve an aesthetic purpose but help manage cooling from the engine bay, where that iconic flat six sits, waiting to scream. Interior slip inside, and the story continues with an uncompromising focus on the driver. The GT3 S's interior is stripped down, but not Spartan. Porsche gives you the essential elements, what you need and nothing more. The steering wheel is trimmed in Alcantara with a yellow 12 o'clock marker, a subtle nod to the motorsport influence. Behind it, the familiar 5-gauge cluster is digital but designed to echo the analog look, with a prominent central tachometer that redlines north of 9,000 RPM. The seats are full carbon fiber buckets, weighing just a few kilograms each, offering incredible support without sacrificing comfort for those long canyon runs or track days. You can opt for the Club Sport package, which adds a half-roll cage and 6-point harnesses, but even in standard trim, the GT3 S feels like a race car built for the road. Material choices reflect the car's dual nature. Lightweight Alcantara wraps much of the cabin, from the dash to the door cards, with exposed carbon trim running across the console and seatbacks. A revised PCM infotainment screen offers wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but its placement and function are minimal, in keeping with the car's intent. There are no excessive screens or tech gimmicks here, just enough to keep you connected without taking away from the focus of driving. One detail enthusiasts will appreciate: the manual option is still alive and well, though the GT3 S debuts a slightly shorter throw 6-speed gearbox. For those opting for the PDK, shifts are instantaneous, and the paddle feel has been revised to give a more mechanical, tactile feedback. Now, to the heart of the matter: performance. Underneath that rear decklid is the familiar 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat-six, but Porsche has gone to work to squeeze more power, response, and character out of it. The GT3 S now produces 535 horsepower and 343 lb-ft of torque. While that might not sound drastically higher than the regular GT3, it's the way this engine delivers that power that's transformative. Throttle response is sharper, thanks to revised engine mapping and lighter internals. The red line is still a screaming 9,000 RPM, but the ramp-up is even more immediate. 0 to 60 miles per hour comes in just 3.1 seconds with the PDK, and for those opting for the manual, it's a slightly slower 3.5, but no less thrilling. The chassis is where the GT3 S truly earns its badge. Porsche has reworked the suspension setup with adaptive dampers that now react in less than a millisecond to road conditions. The steering is electric, yes, but it remains the benchmark for road feel and feedback. Rear axle steering has been recalibrated for even tighter turn-in and stability at speed. The carbon ceramic brakes are standard now, with massive rotors and 6-piston calipers providing fade-free stops lap after lap. In sport mode, the exhaust opens up completely, delivering a raw, metallic howl that fills the cabin and echoes through tunnels. But it's in track mode where the GT3 S sheds any remaining pretense of civility, the car stiffens, the throttle sharpens, and the downshifts crack with authority. Porsche has managed to create a car that is both an apex predator on the circuit and an approachable machine on public roads. Despite all its performance, Porsche hasn't forgotten about practicality either. The front trunk still offers 4.6 cubic feet of usable space, enough for a weekend bag or a small grocery haul. Fuel economy is predictably modest, but Porsche has implemented a new stop/start system and variable oil pressure control that slightly improves efficiency during casual driving. But let's be honest, no one's buying this car for the gas mileage. Now, let's talk numbers. The 2025 Porsche 911 GT3 S starts at around $196,000 in the US, but that's before options. With desirable additions like the Club Sport package, carbon ceramic brakes, custom paint, and lightweight carbon roof, it's easy to spec one north of $225,000. Compared to the GT3, that's a steep jump, but what you're getting is a refined, even more track-capable machine without going full RS. And for many purists, that's the sweet spot. It gives you everything you want, and nothing you don't. As we wrap this up, it's worth reflecting on what the GT3 S represents in today's automotive landscape. In a time when electrification is dominating headlines and even supercars are adding hybrid systems, Porsche has doubled down on pure internal combustion. This isn't just nostalgia, it's engineering at its finest. The GT3 S exists because there's still a demand, a hunger, for cars that connect driver and machine without a digital filter in between. It celebrates everything that's sacred about driving: the sound, the feel, the immediacy of analog control. This has been Car Alerts. If you enjoyed this in-depth look at the new 2025 Porsche 911 GT3 S, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a detailed review like this one. Got questions or want us to feature a specific model next? Drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next drive.